Did you know every dictator and fascist government from Stalin, Hitler, Putin to just name a few rely upon the useful idiots and those who follow them? None of these fools bother to study history, otherwise they would realize that they're being manipulated by fascism. Did you know what every dictator and fascist government from Stalin, Hitler, Putin to just name a few rely upon the useful idiots and those who follow them? None of these fools bother to study history, otherwise they would realize that they're being manipulated by fascism. Did you know what every dictator and fascist government from Stalin, Hitler, Putin to just name a few rely upon the useful idiots and those who follow them? None of these fools bother to study history, otherwise they would realize that they're being manipulated by fascism.
That was crazy.
The consistent and enduring Palestinian rejection of any and all peace initiatives with Israel, most recently the deal of the century, calls into question the commitment of the Palestinian leadership, not only to peace, but to the very welfare and safety of the Palestinian people. Taking into account all the peace initiatives proposed to end the conflict between the Jews and the Palestinian Arabs over the last 83 years, we must consider the possibility that the Palestinians, or at least their leaders, do not want to establish their own state. Their sight is currently set on the big prize, the entire state of Israel, and they are playing for time. In the meantime, they plan to continue to subsist on monies donated by the Arabs and the Europeans. Many of the Arab states have grown disenchanted with this enterprise, and their assistance, particularly from the Saudis, has been discontinued in recent years. President Trump has also reduced the flow of US support. Only the Europeans remain committed to the implacable Palestinian narrative, a survey of Palestinian rejectionism. The Jerusalem Mufti Hajj Amin Husseini, the leader of the Palestinian Arabs from the early 1920s to the late 1940s, said in his testimony to the British Peel Commission, established in January 1937, to find a way forward for cooperation between Arabs and Jews in Palestine, most residents of Jewish lands will not be awarded citizenship in our future country. The Mufti suggested that the Jews be deported from Palestine, rejecting the idea of a Jewish state. He promised that if such a state were established, every last Jew would be expelled from a Palestinian Arab state. The UN Partition Plan. In November 1947, the same Mufti refused to adopt the UN Partition Plan, but offered to establish two states, one Jewish, the other Arab. The Mufti rejected a two-state solution until the day he died, a choice ordinary. Palestinians may well regret, had he agreed to the UN plan, they would have gained a much larger area than what is on offer today. Yasser Arafat. The successor to the Mufti, Yasser Arafat, continued to reject any legitimacy for the state of Israel, refusing even to acknowledge existence. For many years, he raised the PLO banner of a military and terrorist struggle against Israel, in addition to masterminding decades of bloody terror in the streets of Israel. Arafat was responsible for devastation across the Middle East, including a civil war in Lebanon and Jordan's Black September. He also threw the PLO's support behind Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1991, when Anwar Sadat signed a peace treaty with Israel in 1979. Arafat's PLO called for Egypt to be boycotted. The Arab states adopted that boycott and prevented Cairo from participating in the Arab League from 1977 until 1989. Most Arab ambassadors in Egypt were recalled, and Arabs visiting Egypt were considered either traitors or spies.